When you live along a river, there are a few times in the year when you have to make accommodations in your patterns of daily living. People who live on the river will tell you they love where they live and their relationship with the river. However, when the river rises to flood level, as it will do most every spring, that relationship can get tested. The flood of the Grand River near Grand Rapids in April of 2023 reached a peak of just over 16 feet on this stretch of the river. Not the highest flood in recent years, but still one for the record books. Bruce Ling lives along the river. He's lived along rivers for most of his life. Bruce is a licensed electrician, an accomplished musician, and something of a philosopher-poet.
Looks good there.
Bruce knows about floods. A few years back, he lost a home to a flood. And still, he chooses to live close to the river. In addition, Bruce monitors and reports on the river's water level for NOAA. So, Bruce is very connected to the river, and as a result, his response to rising water is somewhat different from those of us who don't live as close to the river's banks. It's instructive to observe how he and his wife Becca manage their experience when the water rises. For some, seeing rising water is a spectacle, a slow-motion disaster. It's a cause for concern, to be sure, but Bruce sees something else in the rising water. It's an opportunity to help neighbors, to create community, and it's a chance to experience what he calls river energy, if you're prepared for it. Bruce invited me to be a visitor to this flood, to come and see, close up, what it looks like to folks for whom flooding is just a part of their neighborhood experience. With the road underwater, we set out in his boat and very quickly met his neighbor Jim.
Yeah, and how long have you been on the river, Jim?
3 months.
Well, welcome to the neighborhood.
The adventure.
Yeah.
Bruce shared that he had spoken earlier with two kayakers who were setting out to check on how Jim was doing with the flood.
That was probably about half an hour ago that they headed that way, and they're going to be zigzagging and going downstream, so they will eventually...
Jim asked us to watch out for them and to let them know he'd be home soon.
Yeah, good deal. So I'll tell them that when I see them, I'll tell them that you went out and you're coming back again, so you'll see them. All right, wonderful.
It was really nice to meet you. Welcome to your first flood.
Welcome to your first flood.
Number 8 or 9 on the list.
Yeah, in terms of severity or intensity. I hate to use the word severity because this is there's so much energy, good energy in all this. Yeah. I feel so blessed that I have an outboard motor. When I was younger, first moved down here on the trail, yeah, I had an outboard motor for the pontoon boat, but that was a big 55 horse, and I didn't really have anything that would work well on this river. But now I've got this really cool older 15 horse Evinrude with a short shaft. So there's probably about 2 feet of water on the road right now, but I will be able to navigate in and out of here with this motor until the bottom end of it starts dragging a little bit. But the cool thing on this motor is it's got a tip. It's got 2 tilts, and then I'm on the second tilt, so it's coming up. And then here's the even cooler thing. You know, I've got this thing at an idle. All I have to do is lift up on it, and it accelerates. It's like a special trolling motor. So you get down real low, and if you want to go a little faster, you just lift up on it.
Being careful not to create any wake.
Being careful not to create a wake here down on the Grand River. Yeah, you know, it's really important that you're very conscious about how you're navigating this road down here on the trail. As with every road that's underwater, if you're coming down the road full blast in an outboard and you're creating this wake, then these homes, you know, some of the basement windows are underwater, garage doors, and that wake will blow these windows right out, or a garage door knocking right off its tracks. And as well, here's people that have pontoon boats, and they're still stacked up on blocks. This happened to me one year. I would have been able to keep that pontoon that was stacked up on blocks there, but for the fact that there was a rubbernecker came down here in a big wheel pickup truck, real fast, created this big wake, and lifted that pontoon boat right off those blocks and sat. So when the river went down, that pontoon was sitting on the grass, and it's quite a bit of work to get it back up again so I can get a trailer under it. Hey guys, how you doing?
There is a kind of normalcy to all of this for Bruce and his neighbors. Yet as a visitor, there is a strangeness to it all.
Be safe.
It borders on the surreal to motor down the roadway and move past houses neatly wrapped with water. As we approach Bruce's house, the kayakers who set out to check on their friend are floating in Bruce's yard. Bruce shared that Jim would be home in a bit, and as a good neighbor would, he invited them up on the porch for a cup of tea. As they settled in to share some tea, the visitors, Jason and Dennis, tell about their experience coming to check on their friend.
And then this business owner comes and says, "Hey, I know about the river. Park here. I let all the people on the street park up here." And he says, "Oh yeah, we lived here for years. We've had a lot of good times down here. We all take care of each other." And I went, "You don't see that anymore. You don't see that like in subdivisions.
No,
you know,
no.
there's such a disconnect. Very seldom that you know more maybe than just your next door neighbor. You know, maybe one or two people on the street.
Yeah.
The rest of them, maybe you wave to, but most of the time, everybody just drives by. You know?
A situation like this too is really cool. It's like young Brandon across the street here. He's new, whatnot. When he first moved in about 6 months ago, he was kind of clueless. And then I've been introducing him to people around here and whatnot. And then he's watching. He's smart. He's not stupid. He was just ignorant of how things work. And now he's watching how everybody's coming together, doing this, that, the other thing. The beauty of that is that now he has that information, and as he grows older, that's going to develop, and he will become more of a community member and looking for ways to help. And that's totally off of older people spending some time. Hey, this is how we do this,
Right.
and these are the cool things that can happen when we all pull together. You know?
Right.
You're modeling
So
that.
we're modeling that for him, and he's on the way. He's grasping it.
And I think a lot of it's not just the fact that the neighborhoods, it's the fact that we're disconnected socially with social media, and the fact that young people are coming up and I want to interact with them, and it's like they don't even really, they're kind of like standoffish, like you're talking to me, you know, like you're talking, I don't know you, you know, and I'm just being friendly, and it's kind of a weird feeling, like you almost feel like you're getting into their space and they're not really comfortable with it, you know.
Right.
What is nice about here is that, especially during flood times, I've held many conversations in hip waders, talking to neighbors, standing in the road with water up to here, you know, having conversations, are you okay, do you need anything, you know, asking Bruce, like, is the water going to get higher, and so forth, as he keeps the gauge, but...
Yeah, I would imagine like a time like this brings everybody together.
Yeah.
The new people are all of a sudden.
You can't spend time with Bruce and Becca without the conversation eventually turning to music. And when Dennis asked Bruce a question about flat picking, Bruce's response was to demonstrate.
Lips are gonna move. Goes like this. Now say, little don't you be mine. You wouldn't do nothing but starch and iron. Say, darling, say. Starch and iron will be your trade. I'll go fishing and lay in the shade. Say, darling, say. You know these words. Now hush, little baby, don't you say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Say, darling, say. If that mockingbird don't sing, Papa's gonna buy you a diamond ring. Say, darling, say. Now if that diamond ring turns brass, Papa's gonna buy you a looking glass. Say, darling, say. And if that looking glass gets broke, Papa's gonna buy you a billy goat. Say, darling, say. If that billy goat don't pull, Papa's gonna buy you a cart and bull. Say, darling, say. If that cart and bull fall over, Papa's gonna buy you a dog named Rover. Say, darling, say. Now if that Rover dog don't bark, Papa's gonna buy you a horse and cart. Say, darling, say. And if that horse and cart fall down, you'll still be the prettiest girl in town. Say, darling, say.
After a cup of tea, some conversation and a few tunes, it's time to get back on the river.
Thank you so much.
Hey, buddy.
It was a blessing. Thank you.
Good hang.
Yeah, we'll see you down the road.
It's nice to make new friends.
Oh my God.
There's a surreal quality to making new friends in a flood, and a sense of normalcy about it as well. As we motor down the submerged roadway, we take in the sights and the contrast of the normal against the dramatic. This house was in the process of being lifted a few feet higher when the flood interrupted the work. It serves as another testament to how much living close to the river means to this neighbor. Although you can't see it, the road comes to an end and it's time to go out onto the river and head back. On the way, we come across Jason and Dennis at Jim's house. Perfect visitors in a flood. As we go back out onto the river, it all seems a little more familiar, a little more welcoming, and a little more beautiful than strange. It didn't take any time at all once we were on shore again for Bruce to meet some new neighbors, welcome them to the community, and offer them some survival guidance. So many lessons to take away from the river, so many challenges, so many observations. Perhaps the most salient takeaways from being visitors in a flood is experiencing the connections it can make between us and providing an increased appreciation for the power and beauty of the river. If you'd like to learn more about Bruce Ling, you can contact him at these links. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe to stay in touch, and share the link with the folks you know who would enjoy sharing river stories.